Alright, the missus has been bugging me about this one. Okay, angelic beings. What are they? Well, they come in many shapes and forms and sizes. And if you're like me, coming from a Christian background, not what I was expecting. Not at all. But makes more sense than what I was force fed as a child as a Christian. So, yeah, angelic beings. They come in many shapes and sizes. But let's start this off with the hook, right? The hook. You gotta have the hook. Okay, true story, bro. I was trying to OD. Yeah, I was trying to OD. Because it's just like once you figure it out, it's kind of like, well, fuck this shit. Let's get the show on the road. So I was trying to OD with some over the counter stuff. I'm not going to tell you what, because I know how you guys are. Yeah, I know how you guys are. As soon as I tell you some crap, you're going to go running out and, oh, really? This shit will make me trip to the netherworld, dude? Oh, well, I'm in. This is like DMT, but like, because you remember whenever Joe Rogan came out as being Mr. Hallucinogen? Oh yeah, DMT, mushrooms, and then all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of MMA meatheads out there and they're just tripping out on shrooms and stabbing their sparring partner. Yeah, I remember. I got a memory like an elephant. I remember everything. So yeah, I know how you guys are. No, I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, I was trying to OD. I was trying to, yeah, do it in my sleep. So I just like dropped half the bottle because that's what I had left. I was just like, all right, we're gonna see what happened. Ended up spewing 3 times, like projectile vomiting, just all over the place. And then if I would have chugged some more pills after I threw up, I probably wouldn't be here. But yeah, it was kind of like, okay, let's just do this, nice, peaceful, die in my sleep routine, Yeah, it didn't go down like that. I started doing the death shudders, whenever somebody just like sits straight up in their deathbed and like nobody knows why they do that and then they go back down. Yeah, I started doing that shit. And I was like phasing over into their dimension, I guess you could say. I call it the realm of damnation because it's just a good name to scare people out of there, because it's not a place you're supposed to stay. It's just not a place you're supposed to stay. And I was like phasing over there. So like I'd like sit straight up and everything was black and white and my depth perception was 0. I'd be like reaching for something, just reaching for it and never grabbing the stupid thing. And like finally hitting it. Like, well, come on. Oh, there you are. Okay. Yep. Found it. Yep. But anyway, so I was doing the death stutter and just like coming straight up and like it was all black and white. And it was like being, drunk, but without the world spinning. Whenever you're just like wasted ass drunk and the world spinning, it was like that, but the world wasn't spinning and the world was black and white. That might have been because it was dark or whatever, because it was at night, but everything was in black and white. And I shot up and there was this mouse dude. There was a couple animals around me. But like the first thing I noticed was there was this mouse and he like hopped along my bed, jumped across where my TV is, started climbing up my TV, and then by the time he got to the top of my TV, he had like transformed into a little humanoid with long fingers. And I'm guessing the long fingers were there so he could get enough friction in the TV to keep climbing or something, and he kind of like turned around, did that, ooh, just Spider-Man that TV thing, and then, walked off, and then I dropped back down. And then I came back up a little while later, and there was a cat. And I kept reaching for the cat, trying to get to the cat, because I thought it was my cat. No, it was just some angelic cat chilling out in my room that I was not aware of previously. Didn't know about the cat, didn't know about the mouse, but they've been chilling out in there. Yeah. But I kept reaching for the cat. I think I freaked her out. Because, like, she was over by my door, and I saw her, and I was just like, my cat! And I just, like, straight towards it, and she's like, ah! This guy crazy. So, I freaked the cat out. And then Little Miss Viper, she was down in her spot, because she has, like, a spot. She's got a spot that she's marked as hers, and she's like, this is my spot, don't even get close to it, sort of a thing. She was down there. And then I saw Wifey. She was like partially out of the covers and she realized it, and she was, oh crap, and she was like trying to pull it back in because she's a big old boa and she's very self-conscious about it, you know, because Christianity and Judaism and the whole Lucifer thing. Okay, there was like one snake way, way, way back in the day that may or may not have talked to Adam and Eve, and you know, for the rest of time, we will mark snakes as evil, evil, because of one, you know, snake that, you know, yeah, sure, whatever. But like, to be honest, she's like the chillest thing ever. She really is. She's just like, as far as snakes goes, like bows are like the greatest of them all. They're just like, she's super chill. It's amazing. So as far as like spirit wives go, I think I lucked out, you know? But yeah, saw her and she was all self-conscious and like part of her was like outside of the covers and she was like, ah. So yeah, you know, my wife is in a separate dimension. But yeah. You know, get your head around that one. Oh yeah, and then there was the nun. And she swears up and down that she's a dog, but she can't figure out which breed of dog, you know? Could you imagine that? You know how many breeds of dogs there are? So you're like on the other side. You're pretty sure you're a dog, but you can't figure it out. So she kind of popped up as like a cloud, like a black and white cloud with some feet under it. That's how she pops up because you can't quite figure out which breed of dog. You know, it's like, how many breeds of dogs are out there? I don't know. And how many, you know, mutts are there out there? Oh, geez. You know, imagine that. So that's kind of, but she swears up and down that she's a dog of some sort. But yeah, that's how she popped up. It was like this cloud with some feet under it, you know? And I was just like, all right. So, when do I die? But I didn't die. Woke up the next morning kind of pissed off with a no, it wasn't that bad of a hangover. But yeah, there were some after effects. But yeah, I don't know. That's major hallucinating. But it seemed like I was just like phasing into their dimension, you know? I've heard DMT stories. Never tried DMT personally. It was kind of like a bucket list drug for me. You know, it was like one of those, I just want to do it once and that's about it. But I ain't ever heard some shit like that coming out of some DMT guy, you know? Like, we get like geometric shapes and, no, I ain't ever heard some shit like that coming from DMT, you know? And yeah, well, I was trying to OD, so, you know, come on. I was almost there, man. I was like right there. If I'd popped some more pills after I threw up, I'd be dead. And on my way. But no. Damn it. It kind of sucks because it's, you know, you gotta like psych yourself up for something like that. That was one of those like fuck it moments where it's just like, fuck it. But that's the thing, you know, you gotta like psych yourself up for it. Every extreme sports athlete out there knows you can't think about it too much, dude. You just gotta do it, all right? But I'm not your suicide coach, so yeah. You see, it's, you know, it's one of those things. Ooh, did that kill some brain cells, though? I feel like I'm like down to like Spartan talking speed, you know? I'm sitting here like editing through it, and I'm like, wow, is there a lot of pauses here? I'm like on like Spartan speed when it comes to talking. It's kind of like, I think I lost some serious brain cells doing that, though. I would not recommend it. I would not, alright? You ain't pinning that on me. But anyways, with that and then with like animals, you know, around, that would kind of follow the Hindu train of thought. Because that's how Hindus are. But Hindus go like, you start off as like a grasshopper, and then you work your way up to being like a cow. And then you become a human. But from what I've gathered, it's like, no. The soul just kind of pops out of the animal when it generates, because it seems like it's like a biological thing. It just like the soul just generates. I'm not going to tell you how. But there's something that just triggers the soul to generate, but it seems like it's a biological thing. So from what I gathered is the soul keeps going back to the same animal until it gets too big for the animal's body, and then it's pretty much forced to become a human. So the human body was created to be compatible with as many souls as possible. That's what I've gotten out of it. So it's like it's that Hindu train of thought where it's just like, yes, animals do have souls, and then after a while they become human, but you can like X-nay on the whole like going up the animal kingdom. It's just like, no, 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 dude. They just pop out of whatever animal they were, and then they keep going back to that animal until the soul becomes too big for the animal, and then it's pretty much forced to become a human, which kind of sucks because then you get put in the human, I guess, legal system in the soul world, because humans are held on a different level than animals. Because, you can't blame an animal for doing what an animal does, but, well, humans, we're supposed to know better. So that, that part kind of sucks. So by that logic, you would get two kinds of angelic beings. You would get the ones that were humans, and humans, that made it up. And I haven't ran into any of those, to be honest, so I can't say for sure either way, but they'd definitely be able to pop out as a humanoid. And well, I've definitely ran into the animal variety, and they seem to prefer being animals, but they can become humanoids because that's what that little mouse did. I swear, dude, I swear, by the time he got to the top of my TV, he was a little humanoid. He like started the climb as a mouse and became a humanoid, and by the time he was at the top of it, he was a humanoid with some long, kind of cylindrical fingers, and I'm guessing it's for enough friction to grab into the matter in the TV. That's my guess. I really don't know, because a lot of this is just grasping, but it's just like, all right, yep, no, dude, I personally witnessed this, okay? So, yeah. Hey, pastor, you ever, witness some shit like this? Any pastors lining up to get martyred? No, yeah, that's because you got it good. Yeah. But I guess that's what happens to the Big H. Yeah, we'll just call her the Big H. Everybody knows who the Big H is. Everybody in Western civilization knows exactly who the Big H is. But she tries to maintain her humanoid figure, but she just gets excited and it's just like, hello, and yeah. But yeah, that's her. She's come roaming through. Yeah, I ran into her. She had to come check me out. Not scared of her, but yeah, that's her. Pretty sure. She's like a theropod of some sort. Pretty sure. Okay, so before I get any farther with my own personal ramblings, so angelic beings. Alright, so they patrol this parallel dimension, right? If you go over to the Muslims, they talk about the jinn and how they hang out in a parallel dimension and they cause trouble. So, it's not like it's like, all right, this stuff bounces around and pops up, and it's multicultural. That's kind of where I'm going with it. So it's just like, all right, so there's this parallel dimension, and angelic beings are the beings pretty much given a badge to patrol and police this parallel dimension that your soul pops up when your body dies, So when you come down to the core of angelic beings, what are they? Well, they are beings that are given permission to be there, So they're kind of, they're kind of like the cops of the parallel dimension, and they go through and they do what they do. So yeah, that's when it comes down to it, that's what an angelic being is. It's a being that has been given permission by the Creator, and we'll get into semantics about that, to be there. While a demon or a ghost doesn't have permission, they just didn't go through the door when they popped out of the body. It could be a couple of reasons. They could be a complete scumbag and scared shitless of going through the door. Nope, not going through there, until the door closed and they took form and plopped down on the parallel dimension's ground. Or it's just they didn't know any better, They're just, I didn't know, And that's when things get tricky. And from my experience, they're mostly females. The mouse is a male, I think, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But the rest, all females, dude. All females. Yeah. So you got a whole bunch of women policing this realm of damnation. You know, I call it the realm of damnation because scare people out of there. You can call it what you will. You know, the netherworld, that works. It's neither here nor there. You know, but it's not a place you're supposed to stay. It's not a place you're supposed to stay. But most of the angelic beings are female. Yeah, go figure, you know? Yeah, go figure. Dude, I'm still kind of stuck on that dinosaur idea, though. But no, that's how she popped up, as a theropod of some sort. I have my sneaking suspicions, which she wasn't a big fan of. But, yeah, dude, you got the big P, the world serpent. If he hung out in water, yeah, the world serpent, dude. Hanging out in the hell spout. Of all things, they call it the hell spout, you know? Maybe that's where, like, the original portal was, and he just guarded the portal. That's why he was just sitting there. There's that, and then there's the big Z. Yep. I'm done making claims at this point. I'm just like, whatever, dude. And then there'd be, yeah, Hermes. That's an interesting idea, because that explains a lot of, like, Western stuff, you know? I can't help you with with the Asian stuff. I can't help you, because, you know, those are all, because their dragons are different than Western dragons. So I can't help you there, and the Indians can't help you there in India. I don't know. But as far as the Western stuff goes, like, yeah, that dude, that kind of explains a lot, actually. But yeah, anyways, most angelic beings, at least that I've ran into so far, which are from the animal variety, they're females. All right, you're just like, okay, they're females, you know. And from what I've gathered, you know, you got to go through and live a life being a human. At least that's what you're supposed to do. And then, however well you do in your final life exam, it determines where you're going to end up at, you know? If you do really well, then you can get into the angel program. If you do okay, then you get to continue and you reincarnate. And if you pretty much just suck it up and just live a very selfish life, well, that's what the underworld is for, you know? And from what I've gathered, yeah. The ruler of the underworld, which is a she and an empress, is actually the creator. That's where the semantics are going to come from. But at this point, I think she just wants some credit. She's just like, hey, can I get some credit here? I mean, come on. I got to deal with, like, the scum of the earth. Come on, give me some credit here. Alright, back to angelic beings. So I keep beating the same bush over and over, right? Yes, humans become angels, depending on how they live their lives. You know, lived a good, just, righteous life, like many people pretend. Yeah, you got a good shot, you know? You got a good shot. And from what I've gathered, there's two ways. There's pretty much two paths to it. There's the easy path, which is become a priest, become a nun, you know, join a religion and be part of the religion. It doesn't really matter, you know, it's a universal system. Religion, it doesn't matter which religion you come from. If you're a Buddhist, whatever. If you're a Christian, whatever. If you're a Muslim, whatever. If you're a Hindu, whatever. You know, this is a universal system that they have that has been set up. Religious background doesn't really matter, you know. So the easy way is, like, you know, go join the priesthood. At least that's how it's supposed to be. But humans being humans, and me being the humanitarian I am, and me believing that pretty much anything that humans can screw up, they will screw up. You know, it's that simple. Because I'm a humanitarian. And I firmly believe that when it comes to humans, anything they can screw up, they will screw up. And religion is no different. So, like, that's the easy way, right? That's the easy way. Go join the priesthood of some religion. Go join the nunhood of some religion. You know, that's the easy way. But the problem is with the easy way, a lot of the times they don't stick around. They get up there, they see what, angels actually do, and they're not prepared for it. You know, it's one of those kind of like 20-year maybe ventures. You know, that's just how it goes. It's just kind of like, well, thanks for the opportunity, but I would really like to reincarnate and go back to the planet now, because that is not what I was thinking it was going to be, you know? So that's the thing about going the easy way, is by the time they get there, they're just not prepared for what the actual job is, you know? Just like nothing in their religion has told them about this side, where they're just like, I gotta do what now? Ew. And then there's the hard way. And for example, with the hard way, my wifey. Yep. I'm married to a big old boa in the spirit world, dude. Yep. My life is like beyond an acid trip at this point, you know? Just like, acid. Yeah, right, dude. But yeah, alright. So, when she was human, she popped up in Song Dynasty, China. Alright? Yeah, like 1,000 years ago. That's when she was a human. And she was a concubine in the imperial palace of the Song Dynasty, which is not the same as the Forbidden City. It's another. Yeah, the Song Dynasty, they had like a triad between the Song and the Zing and the Zhong and the Zong and the Bong, and so the Song weren't in control of all of China, but she was a concubine in the imperial palace of the Song. And to become a concubine in the imperial palace of who, what, when, where, and how, you know, you gotta be pretty hot, right? To become a concubine in some imperial palace of anywhere, you gotta be hot. It's like a job requirement. But nope, it didn't work out as, you know, any classical romance novel would like you to think, you know? You gotta remember these guys. If you remember Sun Tzu, The Art of War, where Sun Tzu kills a concubine right in front of the emperor, just because the concubine's not doing what he wants, you know, and nobody bats an eye at it. Nobody bats an eye at it. You know, Sun Tzu, Art of War, guy kills a concubine right in front of the emperor. Emperor goes, "Cool, dude. All right," you know. Yeah, that's kind of the environment she was living in. Just an environment of terror. Cause like the girls would go and visit the emperor and never be seen again. Never be seen again. And it was just kind of like, well, what happened to her? Sort of a moment. You know, that's just how it was. It was just like this situation of, what the fuck do they do to those girls? What the fuck happens to those girls when they go and see the emperor, you know? And whenever she first told me, I looked it up. I looked it up on Wikipedia. I shit you not. I looked it up on Wikipedia. And at the time, it was like just a list of emperors. And these guys lasted like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Hey, this guy lasted 15 years. He must not have been an entire douchebag, you know? But that's how it was. And then I went back to get that. And now it's been, I guess, what you could call Asian washed, you know? Because this is Asian history. And now it's all, oh, no, that did not happen. That did not happen. But that was only a couple months ago. I was like, I should have screen saved it. Because I remember, dude. I was like, what? When she told me. And now it's all Asian washed. Well, I could say whitewashed, but this is Asian history, so. The Forbidden City. She hates the Forbidden City, by the way. We went through and we were looking up some Forbidden City photos, and she was just like, I hate that place. I hate it. I hate it. But, like, in her suit, and they have, like, suits. We'll get to it later. She's like a straight giggle fest. She just giggles. And in soul form, she's a giggle fest. She giggles. And that's why she likes being in her snake form, because she's like all business, she's all business, but no, she is. She's like a straight giggle fest. And, well, she was a concubine in the imperial palace, like, you gotta be pretty hot. And it did not turn out good. It was just a life of, pretty much she was terrified her entire life, just terrified. It was a lottery system. Some girl's number would get picked, and they would never see her again. What happened to that girl? What happened to that girl? And there's a whole bunch of eunuchs walking around. All these dudes with their balls chopped off. They hate life. They hate everybody else. The guy's got his balls chopped off. He hates everybody, but, he chose to do it. That's on him. But yeah, her number got called, and it did not turn out good. Did not turn out good. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. And she hates the Mongols. Hates them. I used to listen to The Who. She was like, no, skip it. Every time The Who popped up on my playlist, skip it. Okay. So that's the hard way. And under those circumstances, when some saw crap is going on, a scream is considered consensual. So if there's an angel hanging around and you get yourself involved with some saw crap and you scream, like scream your head off, it's considered consensual, and the angel can grab your soul and get you out of there while the body's stuck there, which is kind of screwed up when you think about it, but But if it's not consensual and they just yank your soul out because you a scummy scum, then you get past judgment. So that's why they don't do it, If it's consensual, they can get you out of there, but you gotta go through judgment. But if it's not consensual and they just yank the soul out of there because, oh boy, is this guy evil or whatever, then the guy gets past judgment, and hey, guess what? He gets around too, and you know what he's gonna do? The exact same shit. The exact same shit. So that's that. But the ones that make it the hard way, they generally stick around. Well, the ones that make it up the easy way, they're all like, oh, well, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm just gonna peace out now. Now, obviously, this is pseudo something. I've never heard anything like this on Coast to Coast AM. Me being an avid listener of Coast to Coast AM, ever since you could still get full episodes of the old stuff on YouTube. Yeah, never heard nothing like this on, in the conspiracy theory realm, and but that's pretty much where it should be, Ain't gonna make no headway in the conspiracy theory realm with this stuff these days, because it's all about aliens. Everything in human history, aliens are responsible for, So this kind of like some pseudo stuff, but that's kind of the realm it should stay. Because, you get some dictator in some third world country who just got the crap scared out of him, and he might try to force his way into the parallel dimension and be like, I'm the boss. That's the thing with technology. It's getting to that point where it's just like, it's still probably a couple hundred years in the future, at least, if ever humans will ever be able to get over there. But yeah, it kind of belongs in that pseudo conspiracy realm, Yeah, I'm not trying to form a religion here. I'm just like, well, this is what I've found, This is what I've gathered. But yeah, that's kind of the problem, right? Right there. And generally speaking, mainstream physics, they're more concerned with punching a wormhole in space so humans can get around space, you know? Trying to punch a wormhole into another dimension filled with a whole bunch of pretty much traumatized women. That doesn't concern them. They're like, why would I do that? Why? You know? But some third world dictator, he might try. He might try, you know? And generally speaking, those people don't concern themselves with spirituality. You know, for the most part, those people, they don't even want you to mention anything spiritual. They get very, very antsy about spirituality. You know, they don't want nothing to do with it. They could care less. You know, they're not going to go looking. So, yeah. But for those that want to know, it's kind of like that's how it is. Okay, so the suits. Yep, the angelic suits. What are they? Well, first off, they're biologic. So they're like bodies. Think about that. Now think, what's the most badass biological body that you could come up with? It would be a bug, right? It'd be based off of a bug, you know, an insect's exoskeleton. It's hard to beat. Biologically, it's hard to beat. So their suits, their bodies, yeah, they possess them. That's really what they do. They possess these biologic bodies, and they're insectoid. They hate it. They really do hate it. Like, that's one thing they just, like, hate, is that they're stuck with bug bodies. They really hate it. You know, mostly a bunch of women. Yeah, they hate those things. They really do. They really, really hate them. But if you remember, like, the old Viking tales that actually come out of the Norse, they talk about the Valkyries, right? And if you're listening to the old stuff, not the Christianized stuff, they say the Valkyries were like the most scariest fucking thing they ever ran into. You know, these things would come swooping down, pick up some guy that just died soul, and then throw him through the door. Now, if you're a witch in the Norse days, and you got a whole bunch of meatheads just raring to stick their pointy sword into somebody that pisses them off, what you gonna do? You're gonna tell them what they want to hear, you know? Oh yeah, well, you know, Odin took him. Yeah, sure. Yeah. You know, whether they believed, the witches believed it or not, you know, that's what they said. And I'm pretty sure it's just because you got a whole bunch of meatheads with big old pointy swords that, you know, kind of rule through terrorism. And yeah, you're just going to tell them what they want to hear. Oh, yeah. Odin takes the most worthy of warrior souls in for himself. Yeah, no, that's not what happened. It was the angels in their insectoid body grabbing up the souls as they died and throwing them through the door because they didn't want to deal with it. And then I stumbled into those Greek geometric era pots. It's like Dark Age Greece. So after Mycenaean Greece, but before Hellenistic Greece, like Greek Dark Ages. So there's those pots, and they have those warriors on them. But, you know, if the artist was trying to depict a human warrior, missed the mark completely. So that's where that came from. You know, that might have been like an earlier version of those bodies, you know, because it was like that, what, 2,000-3,000 years ago doesn't mean it's going to stay the same, you know. Constantly updating. It's like, think about how much airplanes have changed in the past 100 years. You go from flimsy biplanes to Mach 5 supersonic, you know, SR-71. Yeah, you know, it's just like, okay, so, yeah, back then, that might have been the bodies. But now, you know, improved, upgraded, as time moves along, updates happen, sort of a thing. And a lot of the Norse mythology comes out of the Bronze Age Nordic era. If there was ever a time and place for the Aesir to actually have lived, it was Nordic Bronze Age, Sweden, Norway. Yeah, way back then. And the Nordic Bronze Age people were trading bronze with the Mycenaeans. So the Mycenaean Greeks were trading bronze up to the Nordics in exchange for amber. Like, no, that's an historical fact, okay? So that was going on. So those two cultures were talking and communicating, and the inferior of the two cultures was the Nordics. Because the Norse were always hundreds of years behind everybody else. They were the last to enter the Iron Age. They were also the last to enter the Bronze Age. Like, constantly behind everybody else. And they were more than aware of the Mycenaean Greeks. So I'm pretty sure they had a bit of a copycat culture going on up north. They went down, they saw the Mycenaean Greeks, and they're like, dude, that is awesome. And they went back up and imitated it up north. Yep, that's Bronze Age Nordic art right there. And the Swedes they're like, oh, well, they were a peaceful warrior society. Because they're hoping. They're like, don't pin us, please God, no, don't pin us with another Viking thing again. God, no, God, no. But there's no such thing as a peaceful warrior society. I mean, look at America post-World War II, How many wars has America gotten into? Yeah, America is a warrior society. And it just can't help it. It just can't help but stick in other countries' problems, Oh, well, they're going commie. We got to go and do something, No, they're just looking for an excuse, That's what warrior societies do, unfortunately. Me, Mr. has more lethal crap than anybody else in my neighborhood. I don't got much to say for myself, but yeah. And then they bullshit about self-defense. Oh, well, it's for self-defense. Yeah, but no, sorry. You give a caveman a pointy stick, and the caveman just needs to stick the pointy stick into somebody. Just needs to. Can't help themselves, it seems like. But you plug the Mycenaean Greeks into Norse mythology, and everything clicks. If you plug the Mycenaean Greeks into Norse mythology as the dwarves, that mythical kingdom that taught the Norse metalwork, and then all of a sudden everything clicks. It's just like, oh shit, dude. Because if you go through the old Norse stuff, even just like at a glance, you'll realize that Loki was the outsider. But at first, they loved Loki. Odin and Loki became blood brothers at the beginning. They loved Loki. Why? Because Loki just delivered them a shipment of pointy bronze swords, spears, this, that, and the other thing. And the old Nordic Bronze Age civilization, they traded in amber. They had a bunch of amber, and back then amber was pretty much the same as gold. Everybody wanted amber. It was a precious gemstone that was pretty easy to work with. And that's what the Nordics traded in, They sent amber down south, and the Mycenaean Greeks sent bronze back up north. That's pretty much how the trade agreement went. And so you got a whole bunch of Nordics going down south, pretty much on a tourist trip, They're loaded to the gills with amber, and they got amber to spend. And they're on a tourist trip down south to Mycenaean Greece. And it's just like all the crap they see down there, they bring back up north, and they got to tell everybody, like, dude, you got to see what they got down there. Holy crap, it's insane the crap they have. It's like somebody from Africa going to New York City, sort of a thing. Well, some rich guy from Africa making a trip to New York City. How does that work out? You're a rich African. You make a trip to New York City. What do? They buy everything, and then they ship it back to Africa so they can show it off to all the other Africans. Like, dude, check it out. Check out what I got. Check it out. Yep, made a trip to America. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. The Minoans, modern day Crete, they were the ones with the trading network. They were the civilization that predated the Mycenaean civilization. And they were the smart ones. But in the mid 14th century BC, you say BCE, I say BC, everybody knows it's the same, whatever. But about 1450 BC is when the Mycenaeans came along and took over ancient Minoa. And they took over the trading network. So it's kind of a question of how far did that trading network actually go? And you gotta think, if you're an ancient Minoan going out on some great, great voyage to some unknown land, that's kind of like the space missions during the 1960s. Or Columbus setting sail for the New World back in the Spanish Empire days, or early Spanish Empire days. It's kind of like a macho bravado thing. Like, how far can we go? And just keep going. And if they followed that coastline up, yeah, eventually they would hit them. So yeah, that is possible. And if you're dealing with a shipment of weapons, you're not going to send that over land. That's too dangerous. All these people sitting there watching this big shipment of weapons going up north, and nobody's going to try something? No. The safest route is over water, over sea. And then you run into the British first, and then there's the King Arthur myth, Hey, where'd you get that sword from, dude? Oh, the Lady in the Lake. And there's many ways of interpreting that, but one big way of interpreting that is the Lady in the Lake, and what was the Mediterranean known for for the longest time? A big giant lake. And yeah, I know. But still, think about it. That'd piss a lot of British off. Like, oh God, don't bring us into this. Because that's the thing, like, whenever you're dealing with Bronze Age European cultures versus Bronze Age Mediterranean cultures, like, there's no comparing, It's just like, don't bring us into that. No. Oh God, we're inferior. Oh God, no. You got the Egyptians. Yeah. Then you got the Hittites. Yeah. And then coming in at number 3 would be the Mycenaeans, But for the most part, everybody hated the Hittites. The Hittites couldn't, they would win some land, and then the land would revolt, and they could just, never keep it together. And then they went away, and everybody thought they were going to go away and stay away, and then magically, poof, they came back more powerful than ever, and everybody was like, what? What just happened? We thought you guys were gone. We are doing legal reforms. Oh, okay, might be better, And then the late Bronze Age collapse happened, and everything fell apart. And historians are like, we do not know who caused the late Bronze Age collapse, and everybody's like, they did. Those Mycenaeans, they did. Well, we got a whole bunch of towns that magically got destroyed, but there's no signs of warfare because there's no bronze weapons around, Well, yeah, but are you going to leave $10 on the ground? No, you're not. Bronze was money back then, We couldn't find any arrowheads. Well, you going to leave $10 on the ground? You come walking across and find a $10 bill, you're going to leave it on the ground? No, you're not. Same idea. They went looting and booting. And the point was to grab as much loot as they can, and yeah, bronze is loot. Okay, so how does that have anything to do with angelic beings? Well, I'm still stuck on this dinosaur idea. Yeah, dude, dinosaurs. Think about it. Ancient dinosaur souls in the next dimension, the right next door dimension, Think about it. Way back in the day. And there's this place called the Hellspout. I call it the Hellspout. Why? Because it's where those things came out of. possibly. But just run with this idea. So you got the big P sitting there at the hell spout spawns, just guarding the portal. Nowadays, they have other ways of getting around. They do. But back then, what if it was just like a portal and they had to go marching? They popped out and, oh, we going marching now. And some witch would be like, what's that? What's that? Oh, they're walking through. There they are. They're walking through. And you got the big P just sitting there, just guarding it. And then you got the Nordics coming down, and they see him, and they're like, that is a giant ass snake. It's just like his neck sticking out of the water or something. Because that's what they say about Bronchiosauruses too, is that, they liked hanging out in the water. So you just got him just sticking his head out. He's phasing in, because this is back in the day when it wasn't a big deal. Because they can phase in if they want to. But it seems like they gotta have permission nowadays to do it. Yeah, figure that out. So you got him, and that's something you're gonna remember. The Midgard serpent. The that I can't pronounce, his actual name. That big giant ass thing. And, you go back home, you're gonna tell people about that. Like, dude, there is this big giant ass fucking snake down there, okay? Thing is huge. It's gotta like cover the world. And he's just hanging out. And what's right next to the hellspout spawns? Troy, dude. Because think of Hector. Yeah, Hector. From the Trojan Wars. Yeah, from Troy, the Iliad. Because there's always something about Hector. They're always talking, because the Achaeans, the Greeks, the Mycenaeans, same thing. They're all like, oh yeah, we got all these demigods on our side. This guy's son of that. This guy's son of who's a what's. This guy's son of somebody. But Hector, the one guy that's like got something, they are like, oh no, he nobody. Except for the guy would like pick rocks up and like crush people with them. It's just like the guy was huge or something, like some big ass giant guy that would pick rocks up, throw them at people, just like just a murdering machine. And what's right next door to the Hellspawn? Troy. So that would make the big P's favorite city, Troy. And do you think if he heard that those Achaeans over there, those Mycenaeans over there are about to cause some trouble, he might not reincarnate and defend his favorite city? Because over in that region, modern day Turkey, it's Marduk. And Marduk is always like a big dude. That's like the big deity over in that area. You got Ishtar, and then you got Marduk. And Marduk is like just always just like a behemoth of a dude. Yeah. So that's where I'm kind of going with that one. Just running with that idea. Now, that is stretching things quite a bit, even for me. But it's an interesting idea. It really is. I mean, the Nordic idea, would not doubt it. You got a whole bunch of Nordics coming down with their pockets filled with amber, and they're just out being tourists. And then all the crap they see down south, they go back up north and dude. And there's this big giant snake thing. Cause yeah, the Midgard serpent, sorry, I haven't played the new God of War in like going on 2 or 3 years, so yeah, sorry. But yeah, it's just like, but yeah, the Midgard serpent was not part of the Asir pantheon, It's kind of like, oh yeah, just wait till the Midgard serpent hears about this shit, guys. So yeah, that part, yeah, it explains it. And then like all those dragons, because dragons are multicultural. Even the Bible's got thunder lizards and this, that, and the other thing, And then all those dragons during the Dark Ages, medieval ages, that all those knights supposedly killed. Nah, dude, it could have been, yeah, one of them just phasing in to screw with people, just because they're bored. And, you go straight through them. Like, it's just like, you can see them if they phase on through, but you'll just walk straight through them. Like, you didn't kill nothing. You didn't kill nothing. Right? So, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, but, at the same time explains a lot. So it's like, and yeah, this is pseudo conspiracy realm stuff, and that's where it should be, No politician's gonna believe this, and that's the point. So, to make a short story long, like I have definitely done, 40 minutes, dude, 40 minutes! Ugh. Angelic beings. They are immortal, but it's a question of how long do you want to live, 1,000 years. 1,000 years, that's a long time to be living. 1,000 years of memories. Imagine that. 1,000 years of memories. It's a long time to live. So yes, angelic beings, they are immortal, but it's a question of how long do you want to live? And they are in a parallel dimension to ours. The dimension that your soul pops out whenever your body dies. And their job is to police that dimension. So yeah, that's angelic beings right there. Took 40 minutes. 40 minutes for that. And they keep that dimension nice and clean of the riffraff. That's pretty much what they do. That's their job. They've been charged by the Creator to keep that parallel dimension nice and clean from the riffraff. Yep. Apparently they've been there, done that. It's one of those, yeah, we've been there, done that. One every time. But they keep trying. They keep trying. And can't forget about the judges. Yep, the judges. The judges are angels too. But it takes an angel about 1,000 years before he or she, mostly she, can become a judge. So that's how that works. Is it takes an angel 1,000 years before they can become a judge. And judgment is what scares the crap out of everybody. It just scares the piss out of people. And that's why they don't go through the door. For the most part. Because it's kind of intuitive. Everybody knows what's through that door. Judgment. Dun, dun, dun. And it takes an angel 1,000 years. 1,000 years to become a judge. Long time. But they do it because they get more off time. That's really why they do it. They get more chillaxing time, whenever they're a judge. But the thing is, if a judge screws up, then they take the fall for you. That's the thing. It's the hot seat, It's the definition of the hot seat. If a judge screws up, then they take the fall for you. And yeah, they don't screw up very often. Every once in a great while it happens. But not very often. So there you go. Angelic beings. Took an hour. Yeah, pretty much. Yay. So if you ever see a pastor kissing ass to a judge, an earthling judge, especially in America, going along the lines of, well, they always need more judges in heaven. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. 1,000 years, dude, 1,000 years. And then you gotta consider those low-level judges that have condos, timeshares, in Vail for those selected clients. Lawyers go in this category too. Yeah, no, heaven doesn't need judges like that. Heaven does not need judges like that, So yeah, angels. They are trans-dimensional souls, pretty much, is what they are. At the core of them, they are souls. And they are trans-dimensional. They were once human, but they knocked it out of the ballpark on their life exam during judgment and became angels. And they're immortal, but it's a question of how long do you want to live. After 1,000 years, they can become a judge and get more off time, more lazy time, And that's pretty much what they are. They're trans-dimensional souls, and they're charged by the creator to police, especially the dimension next door. That's particularly their job, but there's a couple other dimensions they roam through too also. But I'm not getting into that. Hour-long video, not getting into it. Okay. Yep, there you go. But that's the thing about souls, is if you don't put them in check, if you don't check them, they're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You know, it's kind of like, whoa, that worked out great. Let's do that again, sort of a thing. And whenever, well, that worked out great consists of, you know, murdering 100 people in wartime or being a serial killer or something like that. You know, you just can't have that. You just can't have that. And that's what the underworld is for. Is the underworld checks the soul and makes it realize, this is what you did, asshole, sort of a thing. And, oh, you know, yeah, that's what the underworld is for. You know, they don't hand out death sentences for the most part. They kind of let the soul do itself in, is really what they do. You know, they're like, well, if you want this to end, there's that door right there. Everything will end, and you'll get a killer view. You know, because that's the door that leads to outer space, and it's kind of like committing suicide is pretty much what it is. But that's what the underworld is for. It's for, like, you know, it's to check the soul. If you just got to, like, deal with it. That's pretty much what it is. But, you know, you get some fluffy, puffy politician who's gotten his ass kissed his entire life. Yeah, he can't deal with that shit. He can't deal with it. He's out the door as fast as they offer it to him. So, yeah, but that's what the underworld is. It's to put the soul into check and be like, dude, do you realize what you did? Do you realize how fucked up that was? You know? And some souls don't care. Some souls are like, well, whatever, dude. Survival of the fittest, right? Right. Yeah, you say that all up until you ain't the fittest, you know? But yeah, that's what the underworld's for. Okay, I gotta shut this video down. Alright, thanks for watching and all that jazz.